They say that you should begin at the very beginning. It is said to be a very good place to start. However, tonight, for Toastmasters guests, I'm at the beginning. I'm going to start near the beginning. The reason being the very beginning. I'm going to start with where I lived in the first house that I remember living in, which is Columbus Place, a small housing estate on the edge of Tullamore. I grew up there, and there really wasn't much around that we could easily wander around. So what my family did is the two of us, myself and my brother. My mother would cycle behind us, keeping an eye on us. Not quite across town. Mother would light a little campfire, cook some sausages, some potatoes maybe. Sometimes we would stay there briefly, sometimes we spend the whole day swing on the trees. I mentioned my sister on the back of her mother's bike. And later on, she'd cycle herself as well. And so I have happy childhood memories as a youngster of being in with my family, with friends, campfire, a stage of a Charleville woods. When I was 13, in the first year of secondary school, we moved house, and the house we moved to was directly across the road from the gate to Charleville Woods. And so began the second age, when I was older, I was a teenager, and I could go there easily on my own, not with my family. We still did go with the family sometimes, but quite often I would wander over there with friends. Quite often I would go on my own, especially if I was annoyed with the family. It was a good place to go and get some steam off on my own, go for a long walk. But I spent a lot of time in there with my teenage friends. We sometimes camped out overnight a few times, and we're going on walks with friends in the dark. We'd camp out in the middle of the night, get up and go for a walk in the woods. It was so dark once that I actually walked into somebody. It was somebody I had a crush on, so I didn't mind, but it was a genuine mistake. Another time, walking at the back of a line in single file, all walking along, and I just stopped and let them go on without me, just to see if anybody noticed. They didn't, until I yelled and told them I had disappeared. Charleville Woods was a vent. It was a place I could go to release steam when I was stressed. It was a place I could go to have fun. Nothing particularly nasty, but more just walking and hanging around and chatting and lighting our own bonfires carefully. We didn't set anything on fire. We didn't get on to anything too nasty. But it was also a good place to talk with friends. I had some long and deep conversations there. In my early 20s, I left the religion I was growing up in, and I also left my parents' house. I spent the rest of my time, I've lived in various places, I moved around a good bit, all in Tullamore, but never near the woods. So my day-to-day walk, if I'm going out for a stroll to get some fresh air, is going to be down the canal line, because that's much closer. The canal runs through the middle of town. Going up to Charleville Woods now, in the third age of Charleville Woods, is occasional. It's an event, because it's a bit out of the way from where I live now. It's still accessible, but it's a bit of a walk. I still do go there, because those woods are beautiful. They're full this time of year in the spring of bluebells and wild garlic. They're also full of ghosts. Because when I left my parents' religion, I lost contact with all the friends I'd grown up with. So when I go back into those woods, my teenage friends come flooding back in my head. It's a strange and sometimes disconcerting feeling, but I still do go there sometimes. They are worth visiting. It is worth revisiting those memories. The woods are beautiful, they're peaceful, they're a good place to get away from everything, but they're a strange place now. The third age of Charleville Woods is in my adult life is a very distinct, different feeling from the first two ages. Thank you.
Master, fellow Toastmaster guests, and welcome to Father Peter, and especially Timothy. Timothy, the three ages of Charleville Woods. And the thing about icebreakers in this format with pathways, it's a totally new concept, because when we start out in our speaking career, icebreakers were totally different. We're starting out with it. Pathway. You are a seasoned speaker, going by what you produced here this evening, Timothy. And he was very clever the way he laid out a speech in trees, and the tree houses, the 3 times he moved, and the 3 stages of his life, which was very, very clever. And he brought us on a journey through his life from living near Charleville Woods. And he created a lovely picture, I thought, in relation to the woods, and it would entice me to go there. He was on about the beautiful bluebells and the wild garlic, and that's very creative in any speech, the way he drew that beautiful picture. The clarity was excellent, clear and easy to understand, and that's very appropriate in any speech. And he used great pace, which is very important as well. Gestures were also introduced into his speech by using his hands. And the time when he mentioned about cycling around town with his mother and siblings, he was on about cycling around town. I liked the way he done that with his hand, with the palm of his hand. Very comfortable and relaxed, so he was, and that shows a speech well rehearsed, and that's very important. And with the onset of Zoom, it's very easy to read from the script, but I felt he had it well rehearsed, and a great interest kept me going all the way. I have a couple of recommendations for him, and one would be to maybe vocal variety, to up and down a bit more. For instance, the time of the ghost in the woods when he went back at a later stage in life. Ghost. Just to vary your variation a bit, which would be more effective too. And he was slightly sideways at times, which I think needs to be addressed when you're going forward, and maybe come back a bit from the screen as well. And I would see his body language much better. And a prop as well would really enhance this speech, a prop of the woods and maybe the entrance gate or whatever. So if I'm ever passing by, I would know where to would be. But overall, excellently done, Timothy. Super, super interesting speech, great pictures, great vivid imagination, and the 3 stages I thought was excellently done. So well